Recording in progress.
All right, everybody. Welcome. We're glad to be here with you all. I am Daniel Tulutau. I am the chair of the community council here. We're glad you could all make it out for our monthly meeting for February 2026. I'd like to start off just acknowledging some of the board members that we have here in the room. We have in the front Karen, Dan and Jason, Jordan's running around helping putting things together. Am I missing anyone else? So we're clear right now. Okay, well, thanks to all the board members for showing up. We love having this opportunity to gather as a community, to hear from some of the different organizations within our community and stay connected and informed. The meeting is being Zoomed as well as recorded, and we do put all of these meetings up online on our YouTube channel. So if you're looking for some enthralling entertainment mid-month, the whole thing is archived on our YouTube channel, and you can find that on our website on poplargroveslc.org. So we're going to go ahead and work through our agenda items. We'd like to always start off with our fire department. We'd like to open the floor to come on up and
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Paramedic Withers. As most of you know, we work over at Station 6 on Indiana. And this month, our kind of topic to go over to review with everyone is kind of heart health is what we're reviewing. February is, let's see, I'll just read it because I'm not as eloquent. It says each February, the American Heart Association calls attention to American Heart Month, a time to focus on cardiovascular health and life-saving action. Heart disease, cardiac arrest are obviously significant health events, health problems that many people are dealing with. A lot of this, you know, right? Just trying to stay on top of your cardiovascular health is important. So, you know, trying to diet, trying to exercise how you can, having your annual physical, following up with your doctor, trying to stay on top of some of that stuff is the best way to do it, right? Preventative medicine is better to do than emergency medicine. But in the event of a cardiac arrest of some sort, there's a few things that we like to emphasize that is super important that you guys can help with. So 911 obviously should be contacted right away. We always like to tell people, rather than say someone collapses and you know you feel for a pulse and you can't feel anything, rather than saying someone call 911, and everyone looks around and says, oh, okay, someone's going to call. Be assertive, say, hey, you call 911. So that way it's clear, that way they don't get 911 calls all at the same time. So some contact 911 and then start what we call hands-only CPR. Don't worry about breathing for someone. Don't worry about putting your mouth on someone's face. Just start doing compressions. Around 100 to 120 beats per minute is what we recommend. That's like Staying Alive. You guys know that song, right? No one bites the dust. A little more on the nose, but that's the right beat that you want to go for, right? So that's how fast we want to see it, right? So that's what we like to see. And then the third one is to try and grab an AED. You guys familiar with those, I hope? A lot of public buildings have them. They're usually mounted on the walls near fire extinguishers, in obvious places, but it's a little box. It can do what we call defibrillation, which is a shock to the heart. That's what we're going to do when we show up on a cardiac arrest. So those are things that can be super helpful and super important for someone to survive an out of hospital cardiac arrest. We get there and we do everything we can. But if it's been anywhere from more than like 6 to 10 minutes, there's usually significant brain damage, and that's about as much as we can do anyway. So if you guys or whoever's around can start getting that CPR started before we arrive, and dispatch is always really good to help instruct how to do that as well if you get flustered in the moment or whatever. But yeah, the sooner that CPR, those chest compressions can start, the better outcome it usually is for that person. So that's kind of our focus on for February. So yeah, stay on top of your health as much as you can. Be ready to help if you can, and start chest compressions and get us coming as quick as we can in the event of a cardiac arrest. That's kind of our message for today. Just as a bad way of information, last month, Medic Engine 6, we ran 281 calls. We have a squad at our station as well. They ran an additional 150. So we're all pretty busy, but we're keeping busy for sure, trying to take care of citizens of this area as much as we can, so. Yeah, are there any questions for the fire department tonight? We'll start in the front and then go.
So how long does it usually take you to get to a call?
Assuming we're in the station and able to respond, it should be 4 minutes or less. That's kind of our our ISO rating, insurance, safety rating is, we're really lucky in Salt Lake. Our stations are really close to everywhere. We get around really fast. So that's kind of our average. We try to be quicker than that if possible.
So it's very probable that somebody's gonna get defibrillated before they get brain damage.
Hopefully. So,
And my next question,
okay,
you weren't here last month. But
Okay.
The month before, I called the fire department to come out on about 1900 South Jordan River Trail
okay,
to put out a homeless fire.
all right. That happens all the time.
And,
We get called out on that.
So sometimes it looks like there's some safety issues because some of the homeless people can get kind of belligerent,
Okay,
but the fire people that were there, I said, the fire's still smoldering, are you gonna put it out? No, we're not. When I said, well, he goes, we're not gonna put out every homeless fire in Salt Lake City. And some guy named Johnny, that's the only information he gave me. I filed a report with the mayor's office. I never heard back about it, but I wasn't really impressed with that because my take from the mayor's office is that the mayor does not want any open flames or fires going along the Jordan River Trail. And so I wasn't really, I was kind of surprised with the lack of customer service with that supervisor.
This, like you said, the city ordinance from the mayor is to not have any open fires right now. That's kind of what we operate on. But at the same time, if it's the middle of January or December and it's cold outside, we try to balance that with a life safety issue if we have to. If it's nighttime and it's cold, we feel it's safe for them to have a fire, we can use our discretion for our administration if that's our choice. So it wasn't our call. I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what happened or what the decision was or why, but that's kind of some things we take into account. Does that kind of make sense to you?
It does. I just, I hope that I'm not wasting my time by calling them out to put out fires at the homeless start because they've lit up quite a few.
Yeah, oh yeah,
acres out
especially in
there.
the summer, we go on fires in that river area all the time, so. It's never a bad idea to be cautious and we're happy to come and check it out or whatever, so. Yeah, feel free to keep letting us know, but that may be why that went the way it did that night, so. Anyway. Do you have a question, sir?
Yeah, they're immensely quicker. So I find that most people doing CPR probably aren't doing it hard enough. Do you have some technique recommendations to make sure that you're doing that correctly?
Yeah, there's a few things. So we're not using, when you do in compressions, you're not using your arms. Kind of say you lock your elbows and just use your upper body. We recommend about 2 inches of depth. That's really hard to measure when you're bouncing 100 times a minute, right? That's the recommended depth. So, or 2/3 of the chest based on the person, right? If they're a really big person, you gotta go a little deeper.
That's why I'm asking is, if you're not.
Yeah.
It's fast and then.
Yeah, fast and hard is kind of the.
Smaller officers.
Yeah, it's gonna be different for every person, but
Yeah.
fast and hard is kind of what we recommend. A lot of times, the first couple times you'll do compressions, you'll feel a little crack or hear a little crack. It's totally normal for compressions, but you'll hear that, you'll feel that. It's usually cartilage, very survivable, especially if it starts your heart back up anyway. So,
Thank you.
yeah, and then I'll come down here. Go ahead.
Do most AEDs have instructions on where to place the electrodes?
They do. There's usually a diagram on each patch. Real quick, it's easy. I mean, we put one here and the other one goes here, but there's pictures on it. As soon as you turn it on, it'll walk you through step by step. There's usually a little card inside too. So you turn it on, it'll say attach electrodes and it'll show you and it'll say, okay, analyzing rhythm. And it'll say no shock advised or shock advised, and then it'll walk you through that way. And then, no shock advised, resume CPR, resume compression. So they make it very layperson friendly. Yeah.
I was just curious why you're not recommending the mouth to mouth, there's just the compression.
So for a couple different reasons, there's the obvious safety, infectious disease reason. And at one point they found a lot of people were really hesitant to do CPR on a stranger because they were worried about that.
Okay.
In addition to that, when someone stops breathing right away, there's residual, oxygen and air in the lungs. So by compressing those lungs, as you compress the chest, that squeezes the lungs, that'll circulate air for a few minutes anyway. It's not the most amount of oxygen, but when we roll up, we're gonna bring a canister of oxygen and give them straight oxygen. So yeah, there's a few reasons for that, but yeah. Any other questions for me? Yes, sir.
I'm wondering, do you have printed literature or classes that might help people know what to do in earthquake situations? So I don't normally think about this, but when we had that event and I was in the apartment, community area cooking. And then that happened, the recent one, people just started running out the building. And I thought, and I stopped, wait, what are you doing? Right? And this, these were adults, these people,
Yeah, for
right?
sure. And we don't have earthquakes very often, so it's very jarring to us all, right?
And I know the next one could be years away, but I still would like, some that, do you know?
Emergency management would be a great resource
Yeah.
for that.
Emergency management.
Emergency management division.
Yeah, we have a
I think
whole
there's a-
division who does that.
So
There's also CERT training,
Yeah,
community
CERT
emergency response training, and it's a 7-week course. And it starts this spring, so registration's open right now. And it's a really good course on not what just it covers earthquakes. It covers a lot of natural disasters, first aid responses.
And maybe things like he was just talking about, because it would be.
And I'm sure that the USGS, the Geological Survey also has some literature on, what's doing an earthquake. They're probably really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. In addition to that, you reminded me, our emergency management also offers several classes right now. They have what they call Stop the Bleed, bleeding control training. We have CPR classes, we have CERT classes. So there's a number of classes available that are put on by the fire department for different emergency topics. So yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Last thing tonight, we are currently accepting applications for firefighters and for just emergency response paramedics, just medical response paramedics. So if you know anyone, or if you're interested, feel free to apply. It's on slcfire.com. Okay, thank you guys.
All right, we're always appreciative when the fire department's able to make it out. We'll go ahead and turn the time over to our police department.
It's good to know that all the allotment of questions is gone for the night, so I'll just present some numbers. No, any questions, concerns? I think this is the first time I've been here in person for a little while, so are there any grievances? Yes.
I just have a question. I live on 200 South, next to Altaview Apartments.
Okay.
And the police and fire are always there, like literally daily, like 5 or 6 cop cars at a time. So, I don't. It makes me wonder what's going on there, but I'm more concerned about how concerned should I be?
Let me look into it, but I think a lot of it's overdoses.
Overdose.
Just let me make sure that those are the calls for that. And if you want to get to me after, I'll do a
My
quick
other
check.
question real quick then is, they always park in front of my house and then walk down. I probably wouldn't even know if they park like on the east side, if that's even possible.
Yeah, the reason that they will park not in front of the location they're going is just for safety reasons. So yeah, if they park in your driveway, I actually heard a call today that somebody was parked in the driveway of somebody else that they called to have them asked.
Well, I asked an officer and she's like, well, I can park anywhere at damn well, please.
Well, then that
And I
needs to
get
be,
that.
no, that's not, technically it's true, yes, but that's not cool. Yeah, not cool
Okay, I'll catch you later.
And I'll give you my cell phone number at the
Okay.
end too, so you can text me if something like
Right.
that happens again.
Okay.
We need to kind of squash that quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
A few weeks ago, on Post Street at around 2 a.m.,
there were flashbangs and individual was arrested, I believe. I was wondering why 2 a.m. and why flashbangs in that instance. We wanted to learn a little bit more about that specific arrest.
I can look at the exact reason for the arrest, but usually the 2 a.m. thing is we want to catch them when they're asleep,
Okay,
right? The easiest time to arrest anyone when they're not expecting it. The flashbang is to get their to then focus on the flashbang instead of the people coming in the door.
okay,
So there's safety reasons behind that. And the reason they probably did it is probably a drug dealer or a gang issue.
okay.
But I can look at that one as well and see, get you a thing after what.
It was Post Street around
200 and something south.
no, it was 400.
Fourth and fifth.
Yeah, between.
Yeah, I can look at that up as well. Yeah, but those are the reasons the flashbang.
Okay.
Other than we just want to keep you guys awake around the neighborhood, make sure everything's good. No, yeah, that's just safety reasons. Anything else? All right, we just quick numbers. Last month, so January, we saw 17 violent crimes in Poplar Grove. We had 75 property offenses in Poplar Grove, which is down 14%, which is kind of nice. We like to see that. The violent offenses were 4 robberies, 3 aggravated assaults domestic, and 8 non-family aggravated assaults. So 17's kind of high for Poplar Grove, but I like to see the number go lower, but it is down over a 3-year average, which is fantastic. We have, all right, this is to date, and these numbers are kind of hit and miss, but these are to date from February 1st. We've had 10 violent offenses and 51 property offenses so far. And where are we in the 25th of February? So we are seeing an increase a little bit in the aggravated assault side of it, which is domestics. And we're also seeing an increase in vehicle burglaries. So just remember, anytime you have a car that's outside, try not to keep anything of value in it or that looks like a value, because chances are that somebody will probably see it and try and bust out a window. Yeah, so those are our numbers for so far. And property offenses, I did say there was 51 so far this go round, which is down 4.7% so far. And then calls for service. We have had a total of 2,147 calls for service across the city. Sorry, that was on view. Let me get this right. Yeah, 2,149 calls for service so far in the city. That is about 600 less than we saw last year at this time. So we're liking that, but again, as the weather starts to get warmer, so does the activity. So if you see anything, please call us. 799-3000 if it's not an emergency. That means if you do see something suspicious in your neighborhood, if something is currently happening, like an assault or anything where you feel like you're threatened, 911. So yeah.
How do we rate against the other neighborhoods around on the east side? And I mean, and when it comes to any of this stuff, are we kind of on average with them, or are we?
So as far as Poplar Grove, let's see. So the downtown safety area, we'll just do the downtown safety area, had 3,056 calls for service this year. And then the North Temple Jordan River area, which is kind of all the Jordan River, we've had 1,700. So it's less than the city or downtown area, but it's higher than some of the other like Ballpark and places like that. But downtown, we're definitely not the numbers of downtown.
Even higher than Ballpark.
Yeah, we're a little bit higher than Ballpark and these like that.
Did they apprehend that guy that was firing a weapon at the food truck?
I don't know if they have a suspect, so I don't know if they've apprehended him yet or not. I know that they've been watching the location where he's been at. Yeah, that was on Facebook, the actual shooting. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah. Anything else? All right.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate Detective Oliver and his attention to coming in and hanging out with us here. The current legislative session is going on, so these two representatives of our neighborhood are super busy. We had a West Side Lobby Day last week, and the West Side Coalition hosted that, and it was a nice opportunity to learn how to lobby. I was able to go up on the hill a little bit. The only big bill that was really kind of affecting us on the west side is SB 242. And that was like a revamp of 195 from last year, which was basically limiting what the city can do on street development stuff. Last year, the West Side Coalition campaigned in order to sort of carve out the west side so that it kind of went into effect, but not into our neighborhoods. And the same exact bill is up again now. And so we're seeing about trying to stop that. Basically what it does is it adds another, it doesn't mean that nothing can be done over here, but it adds another level of oversight so that anything that the city wants to do has to go through like some sort of state level of regulation first before anything can get done. And we already know how fast things get put up in our neighborhoods in terms of construction projects and street work. So many of us are against that because of the more delays that are going on. And we've seen a lot of different projects going up right now. So that's still up in the air. There's a lot of other bills out there. We won't go into talking about all of them that are happening right now, but our representatives are out because of that. So next, we'd like to turn the time over to our mayor liaison and give some time to Alicia.
Good evening, everyone. So I believe last month I emphasized or highlighted that the mayor had her State of the City address, and just wanted to remind you that you are able to access her transcripts for the speech, English and Spanish, at that website, and just, made some bullets on what she spoke about. So last year, the city began with releasing the public safety plan, and it detailed directives to act on 27 different ways that is within the city's power. And there were 23 recommendations for partners that can act on, that is outside city control. And so since the implementation of the public safety plan, there's been more than half of those solutions that we're actively working on, and that half of those have been implemented, but we're also in work in progress. The public safety plan's strongest or most important element is Project Connect. And Project Connect is an initiative that's leveraging city, county, and state resources to connect Salt Lake City Police Department's 50s most arrested individuals to find individualized solutions. So those folks that are most that are arrested more frequently throughout the city are referred as high utilizers in the safety plan. And so the term high utilizers refers to a small group of people who repeatedly cycle through the multiple public systems. So like the criminal justice system, homeless services, emergency health care, and crisis response. This initiative was successful because 60% of the individuals in the initiative are no longer or have been arrested much less frequently than when they started in the program. So I think this year they're going to be expanding Project Connect to include more than 50 people. So just wanted to highlight that. And then she also mentioned about the Thriving in Place, the anti-displacement strategy. And there's a lot of information in that. Most of the actions have been completed in the Thriving in Place, but I wanted to emphasize the Tenants Resource Center that's in partnership with, it's a resource center that was developed in partnership through the city and CDCU. And so I wanted to offer the contact information. It's basically a hub where renters can get personalized attention or guidance on navigating housing challenges. And there have been about 1,700 renters that have been helped through this center. So you can pass that information along, please. I'll bypass that one. In terms of public lands, this year, there will be about 20 public land projects that will be advancing or beginning in terms of projects. So I wanted to emphasize the Pocket Park in Poplar Grove. There is preliminary playground design options that are complete, and planning staff is working with the consultant to finalize equipment pieces and layout. Next, they will confirm the overall budget with transportation for bike path funding for the space. And then the Peace Labyrinth, let's see, there's a request for design work that will be sent out mid-year. The project has received extra funding from public utilities to include a lift station similar to what is in Cornell Wetlands. So I don't know what a lift station is, and I Googled it and it says it's a type of pumping station used in water and wastewater systems to move water sewage from a low-lying area to a higher elevation, where it can continue flowing through pipes by gravity rather than being stuck in a low spot. So,
We're gonna put one of those over by the labyrinth.
yes, through the extra funding through public utilities, so. Okay, next slide. Oh, before we move on, if you would like to, if you want to know how to engage with public lands, you can go to their website, to their link, and then find an event for you to volunteer, request a volunteer activity, start a friends group, or collaborate with public lands. So I just wanted you to take a look at that, make sure that you have it in your back pocket if you ever want to engage. And then there's a cleanup this coming Saturday from 10 to 12. I'll be there. Maybe some of you will be there as well. Next slide. Yes, the mayor and the sustainability department has launched or has opened a food micro grant applications. They are due March 2nd. I think this is their fourth cycle or fourth year that the program is being offered. The grant is open to individuals, to households, local businesses, and community organizations. And they offer home food production grants, community food grants, those two. So for home food grants, it's $250. For community grants, it's up to $5,000. Next.
Lisa, so I did that last year, the home one, $250 one. I kind of felt that in hindsight that it was almost too much work for what it was worth, but I did snag some redwood ahead of the tariffs. What are you laughing?
Okay.
That's pricey stuff in Canada.
Yeah, we got a cherry tree and a walnut tree. It's, I think it's great.
Yeah, so it does work, but as long as it's not too much of a hassle.
Good to know. All right, there for the month of March, there's going to be a safety audit along 900 West. It will be about a 4-hour audit. They're going to do a walkthrough. We will be identifying hotspots along the streets so that they can walk through and talk about concerns. I'll be part of that group.
From where to where? Yeah.
That I did not ask, but based on complaints or concerns that we've gotten, I will assume that it'll be from Rancho Market or a little bit farther from Rancho Market, all the way to 1700 South,
Yeah, that makes sense.
because that's where we've gotten the complaint
Yeah.
from. That's not what I was told, but based on experience and yeah. So if you have any hotspots or anything that you want me to write down tonight for me to take to the group for March, please do so. Okay, so there's an event that I think I mentioned last month. It is a free event. It's happening in Memory Grove. I brought some postcards for you to take with you. It's a sight and sound installation. It's a renowned artist from Iceland, Dutch heritage, and it'll be for 10 days for an hour or so. Don't want to miss that out. Okay. And that, and then. Okay, so let's see, this, on this end, there was an art installation that was created by West Side residents. And they created the colorful banners, which is called Papel Picado. It's predominantly Mexican art, arts-based type of work. And the West Siders who created the Papel Picado were in partnership with Artes the Mexico and Utah. It was to draw attention on the negative impacts between the separation between the west and the east side. And so they also wanted to encourage those to check out the artwork, but also participate in the We Connect study, which is a community-driven research and planning initiative that is wanting to provide solutions on how to mitigate the division between the east and west traveling, connections or partnerships between neighborhoods. So there's a link if you want more information. And somehow I got this invitation from Together Arts Community Studio, and they are joining with the East-West Connection group to create stained glass art workshops. So, and they have one at Alta View Apartments on the 28th, which is Saturday, one at 43 Bakery, it's March 6th, one at Culture Coffee, March 13th, and Culture Coffee again, March 27th. These are free events, so I just wanted to share that with you. This is not city sponsored, but it's, in connection or in partnership, so wanted to invite you to participate in that. I think it'd be fun. And then one last thing, I think, is that, yeah. The Artist in the Classroom grants, these are applications that elementary schools can submit. Middle schools are not available or they're not eligible to apply, only elementary schools. They have found that elementary schools have very limited arts education available, and accredited charter schools with elementary programs can apply for this grant. It is $3,000 and grant notification will be in August of this year. And that's it. Comments, yes.
I have that lift station.
Yep.
There's another one located on 13th South and near the river. Those be another one. They're not the most pretty things to be putting in a park space, like an open space. That's kind of a big field where that labyrinth is. And it's kind of like it's an ugly little box that they're gonna put in there. It's kind of like a shed. And then it'll have a couple of pipes that are coming up out of it, so it can kind of vent, push things down.
Okay.
It may not be, I don't know if it's for water or sewer or whatever it is, this particular one, but why must we put that in our parks? We're already doing the biofilter thing here in the neighborhood. Now we're gonna add more. The reason these things are happening, I think, is because of the population increase of the city, right? And we're having to pump more stuff around to move it. And we're kind of being inundated by this industrial management of that into the open spaces. I'm wondering, is this absolutely necessary to put that in most places? And, what the west side is managing the city share by literally, right? And so I want to see what benefits are we going to get from having to do that just because we happen to be at the bottom of the valley?
Okay, I'll get the answer from you, from Public Council. Yes.
Okay, this is just a logistics question. I'm wondering if other people are having problems with it other than me. On 4th South, and it's not just on 4th South, but I'm using the one on 4th South just west of 9th West, where the buses stop in the middle of the lane. And the reason I use that one is because when they do that, whether they're going east or west, the traffic going over 9th West stops for blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks, and literally we cannot get out of our neighborhood side streets.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're gonna do that on 9th West as well, put the bus stops right in the middle of the lanes, because we already have backup. Am I the only one who?
No, I've heard, I've gotten.
And so
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they're gonna do the same thing at 9th West, because there's a lot of traffic on 9th West already without buses stopping right in the middle of the lane.
Are there buses that run on 900 West?
Well, I'm just wondering if, the ones on 4th South back up both ways, and people actually stop in the middle of 9th West in that in that intersection. But I'm wondering if when the development happens on Ninth West, whatever it is we're doing, if buses are gonna be able to stop in the middle of the, yes, buses run up and down Ninth West.
We used to have a trolley on Ninth.
I know.
So if we can have tracks on Ninth, then.
Which is why our street never is. straight.
Tracks are still there.
Yeah, they are, they're underneath. Yeah, that's why it's like that, because they didn't take them out.
Have you ever communicated with UTA representatives, like community outreach in terms of transportation or
'cause I didn't-
decisions on those things?
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
who is in charge of that, if it's city or UTA.
Okay, I'll figure that one out too.
I think it's combined,
Is it
it's a combined thing. And I've heard that they did that on purpose to calm the traffic, but they just, it's a little too calm,
Yeah,
meaning that
Yeah.
we're stuck,
it
so.
didn't call it.
Between that and.
Yes, but when they initially did that, there wasn't that much traffic on 400 South. It's only since all those apartment complexes in our neighborhood have popped up that the
Yeah.
traffic has increased exponentially. And so that is part of the problem.
And one
Except that it
solution,
all-
and one solution to the problem is that, you know, that those calming devices. You're only gonna hit one of those once.
One other thing, Lisa, to
No, I'm serious.
add to the list, if you could just, if you could find the updates on the Poplar Grove Park. I looked it up and it was I think it was February or March of 2023.
Uh-huh.
That we had them come and did a presentation saying, hey, we're gonna do this there's two different projects, CIPs on the park.
Okay.
And I know Public Lands has had a lot of turnover recently, so I was gonna reach out to the people that presented, but they might not even be here anymore. So if you could kind of look into that, there was one for the refinishing of the tennis courts,
Rebuilding.
rebuilding, redoing.
Rebuilding.
And then one for the basketball court to have that all redone. The one they actually did a presentation, they showed us pictures of how it was gonna look and all that, and that was 3 years ago. So if you can get some updates on that, that'd be awesome.
Sure.
And also, Felicia, you know, that Fox Wetland, RC, VIP there, that really got pushed through.
Yeah.
I'm bummed.
All right, so
It was my CIP.
I don't see Alejandro online, but we did want to update. He sent out an email to us to update us of what he knew about the 1000 West rail closing there. And apparently they're still projecting it reopening by the spring. Projected is, I believe, when I see, but anyways, they're still getting there. There's still some more steps on, but he'd give an update on that. So hopefully that road will get open again.
Would it be helpful if I sent you a link to the engineer's website about updates on that?
Sure.
That you can post on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you send it over, we'll push that out. Did you have another comment?
Yeah, the city has a webpage where they're providing updates on this, and the city work will be done on March 1st.
Yeah.
But we need the victims to come in after to install the gate arms,
Mhm.
and we just don't have an update timeline from that. So.
Okay. So just, again, that was an email that he sent out, so we just wanted to share that as well. Yeah, Jason.
Again, that's 10th West.
Right.
Oh, sorry, it doesn't say up there. Yeah.
Yeah, 10th West.
It does.
It says right there.
Oh, up on the top. I'm too low to the bottom. Yeah. Great.
But that's 10th West.
Any updates? Other side village. Anything from NeighborWorks?
I'll come up and say a couple things.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Foster and I'm with NeighborWorks Salt Lake. And I don't know how much you guys know about us, but we do a lot of great work. We do so much stuff. Sometimes I can't keep up to speed with it all, but definitely go check out our website. Some of the things that we're currently working on, we're getting close to pulling a permit for the multi-lanes project. That's over on Second South and 1000 West. This has been a lot of red tape and a lot of stuff going on, but there's gonna be 13 townhomes there, and those are gonna go into our community land trust. And from this point on, we're gonna try to be putting our housing projects into community land trust. I'm not sure what you guys know about those, but it's a way of us creating affordable housing. If you wanna come talk to me afterwards, I can kind of talk to you about how the community land trusts work. Some other things that we're always doing is we have down payment assistance grants. We do rehab grants. They're truly grants where you don't have to pay them back. And we do grant work in Murray, Salt Lake City, Midvale, and we just started a new partnership with Holiday, so we're starting to expand our services out to other places. And then we're always hiring for the Youth Works program. That's a pre-employment program for youth from 15 to 18 years old. Great program. It's been around since 1982, served thousands and thousands of kids. So it's a great program if you've got like a high school age kid that wants to, expand their knowledge and learn some stuff they don't learn in, traditional school systems and stuff. And it's a paid program as well. So, and then lastly, our Career Works program, that's an adult training program that helps, we help people get into the medical fields. That's also a free program. And so if you guys are interested, I can give you a card. If you want to go look at our website, there's way more that we do besides that. But we'd love to meet you guys and have you come in and visit us and see if we can help you in some way. So, okay. Yeah.
Where did you say that? 1300 West?
Oh, the Multair Lanes.
What is it?
It's called, it was formerly known as Euclid Corner. And then we changed the name because we found out that there was a former bowling alley there. It was Multair Lanes, and some of you guys that are been around here might know about it.
Yeah.
It's 10th West and 2nd South.
So,
So,
No.
yeah, 10th. So we're really, really close. I think I just gotta I gotta get a bond, and I think that's just about it. I gotta get a bond for it, and then there'll be 13 units there. There's X amount of them that's gonna be in different affordability ranges and stuff, but they are going in our community land trust, so we can make them more affordable. So that's one of the avenues that we're trying to pursue to, with the high cost of everything and building costs, it's really hard to make affordable housing, but that's a way of actually, trying to really help make affordable housing. So, but if you want to learn more about that, you can come visit me, or I can give you a card and you can come visit me and we can talk. So any other questions for me?
This isn't really a question for
Okay,
you.
yeah.
But for anybody in the neighborhood who has been here a long time, like some of us, I'm still in the search for photos of Multair Lanes. I've got a lot of information on the lanes, but no photos. So if you know anybody who's lived here as long as a lot of us, or even longer than a lot of us, other than the family members, because I've already tried, they don't have photos. But I'm looking for someone with photos of the original Multair Lanes, or even the bar next door to them.
in my yearbook,
It's in your
my
year.
yearbook, I think there's one.
Okay.
Yeah, we're really literally trying to pay back to that, and that's the name change. That was really important to us, we thought it was better than Euclid Corner, and after we heard some of the stories and read the articles about it and the lanes, and I remember something about reading one of those articles where the pin setters would get like 10 cents to set up the bowling pins and stuff like that, and their backs would be hurting, but so we like to give back to things like that, and so it was a little bit of work to change the name because it was all official and we had it all the paperwork, but we did rename it, and it still confuses people, like, Multair Lanes, like, that wasn't Euclid Corner, like we changed it, to give back to the neighborhood, and so to kind of honor the past, and hang on to the past. So anything else for me? Love to visit. You want to come see me, I'll get you a card and we can get you hooked up with our website and stuff. So thank you guys.
Thank you. No, but.
All right, yeah, I got it. NeighborWorks is great. My son is in the Youth Works program right now and he's loving it. So it's a good first working opportunity for him. Do we have anything from Neighborhood House that wanted to share?
I'll just introduce myself. Hi, my name's Jenny. I'm the Director of Operations. I've been here for about a month and a half now. Myself and Andrea, who you might have met last month, will be kind of taking every other month until we hire a full-time person who would take Izzy's old position. So you might see a few different ones of us supporting y'all through this meeting. But I assume y'all know about Neighborhood House. If you ever want to know more, do a tour as part of this meeting. We're happy to do it. We have some beautiful old photos. I don't know if y'all seen them down one of our halls. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. But yes.
I just want to know what you think of our meeting.
I think it's beautiful. It's lovely. Thank you so much. I appreciate hearing what y'all have to say, especially working in this neighborhood now.
Great, thank you. All right. And no Salvation Army.
Yeah, I got a question. for those
Do we
guys.
know what's happening with that area next?
We don't.
Oh, no one doesn't.
I mean, someone knows, probably, maybe, just no one in this room. So. Any updates from the Fisher Mansion? Anything you want to mention going
Well,
on?
I wanted to mention one thing, because she wouldn't do anything. So,
Okay,
Okay.
I will. I'll say one thing.
okay, go, then
When
I'll
you're done.
follow it up.
When you're done. Go ahead.
Okay, so Karen and I belong to an ancient decrepit, the oldest wildlife/nature organization in the state of Utah. And we came up with a proposal that we want to run through the Jordan River Commission to install fishing benches up and down the Jordan River Parkway along the trail side, not both sides, but only along the trail side in strategically located places. We established some criteria to locate those positions and what score they might get based upon the wildlife that one could see from one of those benches. Plus I mean, you're walking down the parkway and something happens and you just, God, there's a bench, you gotta go over, swipe your phone, just take a break. And the benches would be like a foot wide and 4 feet long, kind of low so the kid could sit on them, and intended primarily for fishing, but, oh, no. So those benches would be, marked some way so that if an emergency happened anywhere on the trail or any kind of a conflict or anything, boom, instantly, you've got the right people there to help. I think our chairman of the Jordan River Commission was telling a story where there was an incident on the Jordan River, and they called the police department, and the police showed up on time on the wrong side of the river. And it took them 15 minutes to go all the way back and around to get to the spot. So these benches would be really useful because they'll be operating on what's referred to as a 3-word formula where you can locate anything within about 3 square yards of a location on planet Earth. Not like a Google image or something like that where you can't really find where you're heading mostly, but not quite. And so this would really be safe. Where we want to put the very first one there at Fisher Mansion, because there's a boat ramp right there. And it's a perfect location for all that stuff, for fishing and boating and bird watching and all that stuff. So anyway, I think old man Fisher would be in approve of that. Don't you think? Okay, go.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't really have an update, but this will sound just like the last update I did. The construction company, the architects are center coring the mansion itself. If you go down and you see all the scaffolding, you're gonna see that they're working on the whole outside, which also is connected to what they're doing on the inside. They have documented every single crack in the plaster. I'm not kidding. And they are getting up to the roof. I don't know if anybody's been by lately, but they're gonna be working on the roof next. And so that's the update. It's not really different than the last update.
Great, thank you so much. All right, so we have a couple just local updates before we hop into our presenters here. First of all, community council here. We are having our board elections next month. And so if you have any interest in being on the board, we have a few just empty spots that we can take a couple more people onto the board. And then we have a few people that might be rotating through. We have it sort of on alternating years, odd and even years, where we have a certain number of people that have to be re-elected to their positions. And so we're going to hold all that next month. If you have any interest, you can go to our website at poplargroveslc.org. There's a tab in there that talks about the current council, and at the bottom has information about how you can apply to run. And basically, I mean,
Anybody.
Yeah, you send in.
If you have skills, we want you.
Send in an email. It asks for like a resume and stuff, but that's just to make sure that you actually care enough to apply. But if you have any interest in being involved, we mainly have these meetings. We put on the annual, Groove in the Grove event. We sponsor a couple other little things we table at events. And we're just basically a connector with the city. When I explain to most people, I just point out it's like a neighborhood club where we let people be involved. And so if you have something that you're passionate about, like you care about, like Dan cares about the nature stuff, so that he does nature stuff for the council, right? I like parties, so I'm really into the events that go on, right? So, and if you don't have anything you're passionate about and you just want to hang out and help out where you can, we'd love to have you involved. So we're doing that next month. So the vice chair and the secretary are going to be up for reelection along with the other. You filled in halfway through the year.
But I was elected last year.
We had to officially elect you last year because just,
I
We
have
had
to
to
run.
approve you.
yeah. But I don't think anyone else wants the job. So,
Same with me, then.
Maybe I won't rerun it.
Yeah, that's true.
so same with Jordan. Jordan took over halfway through a term.
Yeah.
So it's every 2 year, they're 2 year terms, but you joined halfway through the term, so you only did the 1 year term and then so. But don't worry, I mean, well, I don't know, maybe you can worry depending if everyone really wants to be secretary of the board. But that's why I'm the chair, because no one else wants to do it. So you're probably
You do
safe.
such a wonderful job.
Yeah.
There's this survey, I think it's still going on, the Jordan River Trail Survey. Feel free to scan that, put in your 2 cents. Yeah, there's always more surveys to do. So there's yet another one.
Hey, one note on that though, we don't want to be totally outgunned by Murray. You know, when we had our first analysis of the survey, Murray accounted for like 70% of all of the respondents. Well, that means they actually did something. You know, they actually had some organizer or something that said, hey, fill the survey out. So let's see if we can't jump that up a bit, because Poplar Grove is pretty cool.
Yeah, nothing like a little healthy competition. Yeah.
Just say that, like, we can put this up in our hallway for our clients to come, and I don't know how motivated they will be to fill it out, but let us know as Neighborhood House how we can support.
Great.
I did the survey the other day and it's a little long, but by the time you're halfway through it, you're going, oh, this is pretty cool.
But yeah, we can put the QR code up if you like.
Great, thank you. We'll get that to you. Oh, someone's saying the QR code, does the QR code not work?
It's not working for me.
No, it's.
Oh, okay, well, go to jordanrivercommission.gov.
Yeah.
And look around for a trail safety link.
So I found it.
Yeah.
Ignore that QR code,
Exactly.
it's a red herring. The West Side Coalition, which if you don't know, the West Side Coalition is an organization comprised of the 6 West Side Community Councils of the Glendale Neighborhood Council, the Poplar Grove, the Fair Park, the Rose Park, the Jordan Meadows, and the West Point Community Councils. They do an annual meeting where they also hold an election. And if you're interested in being involved, the board is comprised of 18 members, the 6 community council chairs, 6 more representatives from each of the 6 community councils, and then 6 at-large positions. So every year, 3 of those at-large positions are up for reelection. It's their 2-year terms as well on alternating years. And they have a few openings as well, like the chair and one of the vice chairs are open this year as well for reelection. Become involved. It's basically a big party that we have a bunch of free food. I think Red Iguana is bringing some food for that. I forget who the entertainment is. I think this might be a mariachi group will be performing for that, so should be good fun. It'll be April 21st, so we'll announce this again next week, but just want to put that on your radar. We also had a quick update on the Love Your Block grant. Did you want to talk about it? You want me to talk about it? Do we?
I can do it. So the Love Your Block grant, we are going to paint a mural, something very much like this, on the west side of the police precinct adjacent to the Jordan River Parkway. And the dates that we're doing this is June 12th and 13th. Detective Oliver, at least taking a picture of it. Okay, there's still some hoops we need to jump through, but anyway, that's what we're gonna do, and we really want the community to come out and help us do this. We will need help prior to actually painting the mural, because we need to prep the wall, or we need to do whatever we do to the wall.
Is that before your dates?
Yes.
Your 2 dates, okay.
Yeah, and then this, and it'll probably take us two days to do this. And so anyway, just get that on your radar for June 12th, 13th, and you'll have more updates as we get closer.
We're not gonna change the whole thing, but if you have some major feedback, the link here is just to give a simple form to the artist that we're working with. She provided that so that if you have some thoughts, you can feel free to give it in. We don't promise anything about your feedback, but it's good to hear.
So let me reiterate the intent of this thing. Once Officer Oliver proposed that we do something there, I immediately jumped on it and came up with this concept because we had our flock of peafowl that lived right in this yard right here 80% of the time. And we almost ran over Romeo the third now on the wall there, driving in here this evening. But we would like to put the names of those things. The albino her name is Pearl. Yeah, and then she had a couple of kids, but this mock-up is not a bad illustration of what we'll ultimately probably, so if you, like Dan says, if you got anything that you think, well, you know, like I wanted to add a couple of ducks in flight up above Pearl there, because we've got.
Ducks are over there.
Yeah, you can't see them. So, but anyway, so, yeah, we want to uncomplicate that thing a little bit, but really, it's just to represent wild critters that actually have names, some of them, in our neighborhood. That's cool. It leads people into wildlife, essentially.
Well, one feedback we got from the Arts Council, because whatever we do, the Arts Council has to put their stamp of approval on it. And the Arts Council was concerned that if we had the mural all the way up to the top of the wall, that it would be a hazard for people to get on a ladder and be painting up there. And so that's why it's further down.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. There's a hazard for them to put that wall
Yeah, but then I have a ladder that'll reach 3/4.
So-
The Arts Council didn't put the wall
So
up,
we're good.
so.
Just saying.
All right, we just like to remind, we try to post onto our website when we have we haven't had a ton recently, but, so a little bit, again, not much has come across our board. A lot of times the organizational input is when, you know, there's a zoning, variation that's being approved or some sort of exception that's being made. So, we just tried to mention that. And then, yeah, we brought the snacks tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. We got some more over there, some nachos, and try to keep it simple this month. And also put it a little more in our budget. So, thanks everybody. Let's do some public presentations. We got the biofilter project. Folks are back again, and
neither of us are Jason Brown.
Yeah.
Well,
Neither of us are Jason Brown.
No, it's okay. You're great.
My name is Mason Bolster. I've been called Jason before because we have a couple of them at the department. But yeah, I'm Mason. I'm here with the Public Utilities Department. I was here last month when we were talking about the biofilter project. And since then, we have started construction just this week on Monday. So you'll see some crews out there. Last month when we were here, we talked about forming an advisory group. We got some community members involved, and we brought on Jordan to help us facilitate that group and getting your feedback. And so Jordan is going to give us an update on the advisory group.
Yeah, my name's Jordan King. I work for a consulting group locally downtown called Kimley Horn. I work a lot with public utilities. I help them with the public engagement and facilitation on a lot of their projects. They pulled me in to help with this one, obviously, because there were lots of questions and concerns and comments that were happening around this. And they said, hey, we need your help, come and jump in. So actually, my first day working on this was at last month's meeting. So we talked through a couple of different things. I know that there was a grandma request to find out some more information about the project, and the department's working through that right now and very close to fulfilling that request. We talked about a couple of different other opportunities. There were lots of technical questions that were being asked. So we're working on a response to that. We'll prepare a specific meeting to talk about questions as it relates to those technical questions. So that's coming around as well. And like Mason mentioned, we asked in this meeting if there was anyone that was interested in helping us work through our landscape plan, take a look at what it would look like actually in your community. And we had our first meeting on that. We asked it. Sorry, what was that?
Snow day.
I know it was. We had 2 people who were able to come. We're gonna have a follow-up, and if you didn't make it to the first one, come to the second one. Totally fine. There were some questions
asked at that meeting that we don't have the answers to yet, but we're working on. Our intention was to provide an update to that plan today at this meeting, but because of postponing that original meeting, then the Snowden meeting, having some questions that we need to have answered, we didn't feel like we were in a good position to be able to share out, hey, this is the site plan and what we're thinking today. We want to make sure that we're really incorporating the feedback and answering some of the questions that were asked when we met with that group. So more information will come as we get going on that. But that's kind of where we're at right now. So like Mason mentioned, the crew that's going to be doing some of the work out there has already gotten started this week. They're clearing and grubbing, getting the space ready for the project to take place. But there's still some moving parts that we're addressing as this train is moving down the track. Questions? We have a couple of minutes to answer a few questions tonight about that. Jason?
No,
Okay.
just wait.
There is a project website where you can go and get some general information. There's FAQs on there now, but we're adding to them as we're answering some of the technical questions that have come in. So that site is being updated. So you can go and look at what's in the FAQ, and there's an opportunity to ask additional questions. There are 2 email addresses on there. One for Mike Guyman, who's his boss's boss, and then who was also here last month, and he also was at a different meeting before. And then there's a general one that's 500 South Biofilter at slc.com. That goes to a slew of people who are involved in the project, and whoever is the subject matter expert to response to that question. So I recommend using that one because it goes to Mike as well as a bunch of other people. So if you have a question, jump in there, shoot us an email. You can also call Public Utilities. The website has a hotline directly to my team, and I can get you to the person who can answer the question if I can't. Or you can call Public Utilities general number, and they'll either get you to the engineer or the communications manager or to me. So lots of ways to do that. Yeah.
What's the website?
If you go to, so it's a long website because this name of the project is really long, but if you go to slc.gov/utilities, which gets you to the utilities website or webpage, and just search 500 South Biofilter or put in biofilter on its own, it'll pull up the project page. Oh, you can Google biofilter SLC.
Yeah.
Yep, and that also takes you directly to the page.
Way better way to search the city website.
That is probably true, though it is getting better all the time. Cool. Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna attend the first or second meeting, however, Zurich, right? I mean, Salt Lake City is already the most wasteful water user in the world. We're using potable drinking water to beat Kentucky bluegrass lawns. This is crazy. But so anything that would be promote water going to the Great Salt Lake, in other words, a lot less water, Zurich, we're good.
Okay. I appreciate the comment.
Yeah,
We'll make
thank
sure we pass that on. I do know that that's a key element
Yeah, I
of the
know.
department. They're working towards that
I heard
pretty
a few
expeditiously.
suggestions that were just kind of.
Yeah, specific to this project, we looked at conservation, and we have a conservation expert on our team
Yeah.
who's helping with some of the plans
Well, your
around that.
tree expert is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, she's pretty great. We're really lucky. Yeah. Yes, did you have a question?
How much is the lithium mining? With the water being used from the Great Salt Lake?
That's a great question that I don't know the answer to, but I would be happy to at least point you in the right direction if you want to tell me your name, or get with me and I'll give me your name and a way to contact you. I can
The
follow.
lithium mines up north, like that.
I'm not sure, but we'll find out.
There's no lithium mine here in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So, that technical safety meeting you referred to, if construction started on the site this week, they're moving ahead without having addressed the concerns.
So to answer your,
Like, the city is acting in good faith by moving forward without, having that.
so my answer to that question is going to be what I was told my answer to that question can be, which is that the department feels like this is the right solution for this project, and they are moving forward. However, they're happy to continue to answer technical questions
to help the public continue to feel safe with the decision that they made.
That feels very one-sided.
Well, great. Are you guys able to stick around to the end of the meeting?
Yeah.
If you have any more comments or questions, feel free to snap
Yeah,
them
I'm great.
afterwards. And yeah,
In accordance with the bylaws, I'd like to make a motion.
okay.
Should I speak to it first or make the motion and then speak?
Speak to it first. I do you the Robert rules guy?
Robert's rules. Yeah, go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Talk about it. We'll get her.
So yeah, I think it's clear that the city is not interested in demonstrating the safety of this project or the appropriateness of the technology. I'll say, yeah, my name's Ben Jordan. I work for the Public Utilities Department, but I'm here as a resident, Poplar Grove. For about 20 years, I've held a certification in hazardous waste operations and emergency response. It's 40-hour certification. I have an associate's degree in environmental technology, bachelor's in environmental sustainability studies with a minor in eco justice education. Sorry, emphasis if I didn't say that. And I've been working in this industry for at least 14 years. I don't feel like the safety has been demonstrated. Really simple questions haven't been responded to. I don't think it's appropriate for the city to move forward with this project. Therefore, I would move that the leadership of the Poplar Grove Community Council send a letter to the mayor, the city council, the West Side Coalition, the planning commission, and the director of public utilities, stating that we would like to pause this project until our safety concerns have been addressed.
Do you have a compromise, in terms of the time to pause, how long the pause would be? Could be 20 years. I'm just kidding, but you get my point.
Yeah.
I will second it if it's an acceptable.
I think they should come back to the community council and then we would vote again on another motion
Okay.
to move forward with the project.
I'll say, it doesn't hurt to do that, because they're just they're shoveling the ground, what, they're gonna lean on their shovels and eat donuts, yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'll second that motion
Okay.
with that kind of a constraint.
Okay, we'll need you to help us draft this letter.
Yeah.
And you have to.
Do we have someone speak against motions, right? Is that a thing too?
You
Robert?
can ask
We also, so in full transparency, we are very bad at actually following the proper order of things because we don't really do a lot here. So that's why I keep looking at Dan and
Well,
asking him what's next.
Discussion, so just raise your hand and we just go.
Yeah.
And go
Just
around
ask
the
for
room.
Further discussion, if there's further discussion.
So does anyone else have anything they'd like to say in discussion in this? Thanks for holding, guys.
Is there anybody online?
No, I mean, there's three people online. No one has had anything to chime in yet so
All
far.
that. I think his concerns, although I don't know, just given his status with the city already and where he stands personally, I think it's worth the look.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a lot of landscaping, a lot of things for that area that can definitely be prepped. And we're talking about that, that area needs that anyway. So they're moving forward with that. This thing sits on top of the ground, so if it never gets there, it's still landscaped, right? So I don't see a problem with them working on where this thing goes, because it has yet to be ultimately decided what it is, where it's gonna sit. I mean, they know where they want it to sit, but how we're gonna cover it up or make it blend in or whatever, but there's a lot of trees and plants and they want a driveway that might go around this thing so they can just pull through around behind it. Those elements like that are being considered. I think there should be no reason that they can't prep that stuff, because ultimately, if there is something found that is a real problem, then there should be no one who would step against that and say, oh yeah, you know, this is just a safety thing. But in the meantime, there's a lot of things that probably be dressed up over on that, regardless of this building. Even if the building never went in there, let's just say they shut it down altogether, it's still landscaping. Right? That's what I'm getting at. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Karen?
So I just want to say, we live right where that smell is,
Oh,
and we've lived there, I mean, and it is really awful sometimes. And, I've probably called the city about it a couple times and they've been out, and this has been going on for literally years. Okay, this isn't anything new. It's been going on literally for years, this smell has. And so I don't see the point in pausing this project if it's going to help that. And in lieu of what they said last time about how this, it's gonna corrode the pipes and it's gonna cause other issues down the road that will, in the end, cost us as citizens more money to fix than if we just proceed with this project.
Can I respond to that? I'll just say that, there have been some technical documents that I've been able to see, and, other locations in the city, they were able to line those pipes so that they wouldn't corrode any further. And then also there's a question of whether this is the correct way to, like, address the hydrogen sulfide issue. They could be dosing something called ferric into the lines upstream, basically, and that would remove the smell as well. The smell is actually like coincides with methane, which they're not treating for with this technology. And so you could have methane itself is colorless and odorless. The gas company puts an odorant in there so you can actually smell it, and the sewage, like the hydrogen sulfide, is your indicator of methane. So this would actually, potentially, you could have methane in your neighborhood and not be aware because the smell's been removed.
If I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to add a couple of things. I've been working through some of the technical questions that we have received in conjunction with a number of different parties, with the manufacturer, with our design engineer. And Ben, you have asked some very good questions and important questions, I think, and we're close to getting you answers on those. A couple things on a CIPP liner, for example. One strategy for protecting the sewer, and it's great. It's not going to help with the odor problem on 4th South and 10th West. You can put the liner in, it'll help with the corrosion, but we're still going to be getting calls about odors, and we don't want that. On methane, this project is not designed to treat methane, you're right. We don't anticipate methane being a problem. Methane, if it's generated naturally, which is what's happening in your sewer, is an odorless gas. Natural gas companies put chemicals into methane to make it smell. That's when methane smells. The stuff that's in your sewer, what smells is hydrogen sulfide. And that's what we're working to remove and reduce with this project. I feel like I had one other thing I wanted to say, but I just wanted to put those couple of things out there. Upstream treatment, we are dosing ferric currently. And it helps. It helps reduce the sulfide loading on the sewer system, but it hasn't done enough. So this project is another step that we are taking to protect the sewer system and to reduce odors in the neighborhood. Does that answer?
Well, that helps, but like we still don't know the concentration and the flow of what's going to be coming out of that. So that's really the concern. And having methane there as a hazard that is no longer detectable, that's a big problem.
Dan?
Yeah, and you've already committed to come back next month to our next meeting anyway. And so this might still work for you guys. I mean, you might have to ship some stuff around a little bit, like Jason was saying, dealing with the yard a little bit more than the actual project itself, but I think it's a legitimate cause with all of neighborhood concerns,
Dan, did you have something?
Oh, I was just wondering, responding to the smell by your house, because I live a block from you. I never smell it, and I'm wondering, is it in the air or is it in your home?
I'm not so sure you can reach out and grab it.
No, it's
Is it in the
so
air?
dense.
where it is, it's not right in front of our house. It's basically coming up out of the sewer
Unfortunately.
directly on 400 South.
Yeah.
in front of the two homes that are on the south side of 400 South.
Right.
And your street?
And I'm sure I mean, they have to smell it more than we do. And sometimes it's worse than others.
Yeah.
Cause they run.
And,
I've only got a whiff of the odor, walking the dogs and all, probably one time in the last several weeks. So it's not all the time, but you know, what did I say at the meeting? When birds are falling out of the trees, it's pretty strong.
anyway, it's been in the neighborhood literally for years.
Are there any other discussion points on the motion that has been made? Okay, so we can go ahead and close that. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, so all in favor of the motion, maybe hands up. Anyone against? Same. I think we need just 2/3. So I think that was more.
Yeah,
That's
just a majority.
Majority.
Okay. So we'll draft that letter if you want to get with us.
Sure.
Thanks for caring. Sorry that we care so much.
We're here because you care so much. We care too. That's also why. Yeah.
Great. With that said, that motion carries, and if there's not anything else, I guess we're gonna keep on moving with the meeting. And you guys will stick around if there is anything else that you want to ask them individually afterwards. Great. Thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up, we have livable streets update.
All right, it's a big transportation update, it's not just livable streets. I'm Kyle, I'm a transportation planner with our transportation division in Salt Lake City. Whole bunch of projects happening in the neighborhood this summer. I'm not gonna run through the list. I'll try to get through these slides quickly because I know we're running short on time. Next slide, please. So many of you may have heard this spiel already on neighborhood byways. We have a network of bike routes in Salt Lake City. A lot of these painted bike lanes, the protected bike lanes, are on busier streets in this neighborhood. It's streets like 4th South, 9th West. We also have a lot of other streets that are much lower traffic and naturally kind of more calm and safe. And so the neighborhood byways uses those streets and then improves some of the crossings of the major streets on those routes to develop a network of low traffic, comfortable, safe bike lanes. Next slide, please. What are some of the criteria for these characteristics of these streets? Low traffic volumes and speed. We obviously want to get people where they're going, so connecting to neighborhood destinations. Consistent and connected sidewalk, and also street trees and greening. It's great in summer to have nice shade for when you're biking. You can see the rough speeds that we're targeting, 20 miles an hour, which is the speed limit on residential streets all over Salt Lake City, and ideally around 1.5 thousand cars a day. Next slide, please. So eventually you're traveling along one of these comfortable streets and you hit a really busy, high-speed street. What you need is a safe crosswalk to get across that street. This is a photo of the Kensington neighborhood byway, which finished construction last year. You can see what we did here. This is mirrored on the southern leg of this intersection, but this shot just shows the northern leg. These are the curb extensions. These are built as floating, so they're detached from the curb, so we maintain the existing curb and gutter. You can see this this little bike ramp over here also exists on this side, and so if you're crossing the street on a bike, you basically become a pedestrian for a minute. So hop in the crosswalk. Use the flashing crosswalk signs to let cars know you're there, cross the street. And then along the route where needed, we'll do traffic studies and see what the average speeds are on these streets, add traffic calming if necessary. And then wayfinding signs and paint markings are really important to guide people along the route through the neighborhood and to local destinations. We have a whole network of these streets. Nice move with the slide. We have a whole network of these streets across the city. This is a zoomed in area of just Poplar Grove. The main ones we're focusing on tonight are going to be 6th South and Navajo Street. You can see 8th West, Cheyenne, Emory are other streets in the neighborhood where we're planning to do neighborhood byway improvements. So how are we doing it this summer? These are happening as part of street reconstructions. Doesn't always happen this way. This is the way we prefer it to happen, so that if all the construction happens at once and we don't have to, redo the pavement and then come in later and do the concrete work. We've been out canvassing the neighborhood for this project already. This is happening on Navajo Street from 3rd South to 6th South. Starting, I think today or tomorrow, they're gonna start organizing and you'll see more construction activity start up next week. They're gonna be starting with the concrete work, but overall, there's gonna be replacing the pavement on the street and then a handful of speed humps and speed tables. Speed tables are essentially same height as a speed hump, just a little bit longer because the bus runs on these streets. And then a crosswalk safety improvement on Fourth South, similar to that photo that you saw of the Kensington neighborhood byway with curb extensions and bike ramps and flashing crosswalk signs.
What, really?
Yep.
Gosh, it's about time.
About time, we've upgraded so many crosswalks on
No,
Fourth South. I know
Fourth
there's
South,
more.
there's nothing there for the kids when they cross.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
they're up there.
yeah. Sometimes I drive down Fourth South and it's like, there's so many crosswalks, but it's a good
Not
thing.
at the- not at the
We're
elementary
doing
school.
our best to discourage as many,
I wanna set up a thing where there's people at all the little hawk watches and somebody sits at a little timer and everybody hits all the hawk watches at the same time so that all the traffic has to stop.
Yeah.
You're evil.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
And then 600 South, similar idea. This one I think is not starting until May. We don't have a specific timeline for this yet, but as soon as we know more, we'll let you know. This one runs on 6 South from Cheyenne Street all the way to where the street dead ends at the Jordan River Trail. Only one traffic circle coming in as part of this project, but we're also improving some curb ramps. Alicia mentioned there's that Jake Garn little pocket park right over here on the map. This is really cool. There's not a lot of opportunities for us to do this in Salt Lake City, but that park kind of acts as what we call a modal filter, where cars can't go through, but it's a good access for pedestrians and bikes. And so we're just trying to improve the curb ramp so they work better for people pushing strollers and wheelchairs on bikes and just make a consistent route there. Because we made some other improvements on 9th South and 9th West and 6th South as well as 8th West. And so it's we're getting pretty close to making a pretty continuous route on 6th South. Livable Streets is another citywide traffic calming program, has a lot of similar values to the Neighborhood Byways program. A lot of the traffic calming that you've seen being built in the neighborhood has been part of the Livable Streets initiative. You can see all the red dots on this map are where people have given us feedback requesting street safety improvements. This map is like, this particular slide's like a year old, and so there's probably double the number of comments now. Just came to say that zone 12, we have a draft traffic calming plan for. That's right here. It's south of Indiana, and I think that's Emory Street and west of Indiana Street. It's available on our website, and I'll have a QR code just in a second. And we have a draft traffic calming plan for that area. It includes primarily traffic calming on Emory Street as well as Navajo Street, but handful of other improvements in the neighborhood. And then we jump back real quick. One other thing to mention, zone 17 is coming up. We're going to be starting a public engagement effort, canvassing the whole neighborhood, hosting community events and things like that. And that runs up from 400 South down to Indiana, I think Cheyenne over to Emory Street. And so next slide, please. If you scan one QR code, my whole presentation, it's this one. We're looking for feedback on where you see speeding, dangerous intersections, crosswalks that feel unsafe, any transportation safety issues. We're not gonna be able to address every single thing, but the more feedback we have, the better we can start planning for this upcoming zone. So 400 South Viaduct Trail, this is almost completely done. This is a new bike path from 9th West to 2nd West. Really wish I had this available to me when I was commuting to their streets division. But it's great that it's here. It's not going to be officially open until they're finished with the signal work and some of the green paint. They're waiting for warmer temperatures to be able to apply that. But they've started, you may have noticed they've started putting up the art. There's going to be some really cool like rainbow peacock themed
They put it
artwork.
up once, they put it on backwards, so they took it down and then put it up the right way.
The city way, the city way. Yeah.
So, I ride my bike every day. So, because this isn't open, the other option is to ride on the other side.
Mhm.
Well, that's a homeless encampment on the other side. I've had to call the police department on many occasions because there's legs across the whole path and they don't want to move their legs. So it's kind of hard to use that. Plus, a lot of syringes, a lot of garbage. a lot of excrement. And so I hope this other site isn't gonna turn into that. Because when they have had it open, there's been a lot of people camping on this site as well. So I'm really disappointed with what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I would just continue to report that to the police, and the My SLC app and the homeless outreach team will take care of those issues, but I experienced the same thing. I used to like on 8th South, but when I was walked by the train, I would take 4th South and notice the same thing on the sidewalk on the north side of the street. So I think you're doing the right thing by just reporting that.
The artwork at so when I see this every morning, the artwork from the center going over, it's like, it's very organized and the colors look great. And then as you start to get into the west side of the bridge, right at the bottom, it just is kind of like the leftover bits have all kind of been tacked up. It's kind of like random fluorescent colors and I don't remember that being the plan, but it just feels like, it's beautiful all up here, and then all of a sudden, as you get to the west side, it's just kind of a mess. So I'm wondering if there's, I mean, just from the artistic thing, it's like, well, wait a minute, what happened to the?
Yeah.
It's this nice consistent thing until you get down there at the bottom of the hill, and it's just kind of random colors.
I can't speak to the artist's vision on that, and I also don't think it's done, so maybe once it's finished.
It's pretty cool, actually.
It looks great
Once they
all
put
in
it
the
up the
middle.
right
I'm
way, and you
watching
can
it.
see the colors, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it does. It lights up with the sun really well, and
Yeah.
it's cool. But down the bottom, I'm like, wait, what happened down here?
Well, I appreciate the comment. We're doing a little bit of adding a few sidewalks over on Indiana to Wallace Stegner Academy. If you go to the next slide, construction's happening in 2026 on this. This is Indiana Ave right here and Redwood Road. Wallace Stegner Academy is right here. We're just going to be adding essentially a really wide sidewalk. There's no sidewalk here on either of these streets, so a new walking, and it'll be wide enough to also bike on for students going to school there. We really wish we could, this is the 9-line trail, really wish, and the dream is eventually to continue using the rail trail there, but Union Pacific wants a lot of money for that land, so yeah. Next slide, please. We're good. Handful of other crossing improvements. Every year we upgrade crossings all across the city based on traffic volumes, crashes, and then other factors like the number of lanes and speed limits and things like that, just working our way through the list. And a handful of these are in this neighborhood, kind of a bit south of here. But we were talking about 9th West earlier. 3 crossings are going to be upgraded to the flashing signs, and a couple of those are also getting curb extensions or pedestrian refuge island on 9th West, all by Jordan Park. A couple crossings here. One goes to a school. Another is another frequently used school crossing on California Ave. And then the last one, we have an existing crosswalk on 17th South that we're upgrading to a Hawk full signal to the new Glendale Regional Park. Slide. The West East Connections project, Alicia touched on this a little bit. There's some upcoming events to get involved in this project. This is a 2-year-long planning study that's going to develop solutions to help bridge the west-east divide that's created by I-15 and the railroads. So the 28th, the 6th, and the 13th, a few different opportunities to get involved at a free stained glass workshop. They're going to have some meals for like the first dozen people that show up. You don't need to be an artist to attend. It's open to anyone, and just a good way to provide your input to that project. And then we touched on this as well, but the 10th West Railroad Quiet Zone, they need to do some safety improvements in order to get that railroad crossing open, and so the train doesn't have to honk the horn when it goes through there. The city construction will be finished on March 1st. It's on track, but we don't know. Union Pacific has to come in afterwards, and sometimes Union Pacific moves at their own pace. So we don't have an exact date for that.
It's like a terrorist story.
Yeah. You know what? No comment. This is our website, and this is my email. Feel free to snap a photo, send me an email. Yeah, any questions?
Can I just say, I love those raised sidewalks on 800 West between 1300 South and 700 South.
Oh, yeah.
Those are really great.
Cool.
We need some of those in our neighborhood.
Yeah. I'll have to look, I can't picture those off the top of my head. Usually I can't. I have a map of the
So
city.
you come down over 1300 South Viaduct, right?
Yeah.
And turn on to 800 West going northbound.
Oh, gotcha.
And so they'll
Yeah.
put in those, actually they're little speed bumps.
Yeah. Thank you. That's great.
So maybe I'm the only one who doesn't know this, but I think it's on Second West. They're like speed bumps, but they have cutouts in the middle. Why are there cutouts?
Yeah, those are called speed cushions. We typically put those on bicycle routes and routes that have emergency vehicle access needs. The cutouts are spaced for things like fire trucks and ambulances and things like that, so they can go through them without having to slow down. And they're also a bit more comfortable for cyclists who might be, have a kid on the back of their bike or loaded down with cargo and stuff, and the disruption's a little bit less intense for them. So, yeah.
I'm curious about Emery Street. The timing on more stuff. They're planning on redoing the sewer line underneath Emery from Indiana north. So how do we save a little money on this? If they're just gonna tear it back up, right? Because they're checking now. I think it's either they're starting this fall or they're starting next year on that. I don't know, you guys might know, but they're gonna redo that. So all the speed humps and bumps and crosswalks and whatever, they're gonna chop that.
Yes.
Do you know anything about that?
No, but our team will be coordinating with public utilities. There's a handful of other locations around the city. We're dealing with that right now and just waiting for the utility work to be either be done and come in afterwards or just develop a plan with them. So
Then I would like to suggest an engineering difference in the raised crosswalks. So I'd like to talk to you about that.
sure, talking curb gutter or bridge gutters.
Straight across.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is extend the drain around the corner so that either side has it. And then, there's not much of a clean out if there's an issue. It's like, 8-10 feet. That's the curve.
Yep, well, you highlighted the issue. I totally agree with you. That's the right way to build raised crosswalks, but our streets team just doesn't like them because of the issue, but.
Tell them I'll fill it in with concrete later. I'll just do it. And they can.
Yeah.
complain about it later.
Yeah, because like.
They have the option to put the drain in now before I go and put the concrete. Because what happens is if you come to the corner, cars wanna skip the dip, right? They don't wanna go over the bump. So they go to the thing and they hit the corner, they hit the curb, and if someone's standing there, it scares the hell out of you. If they don't hit you. So that's what they're doing is everyone's trying to get around it.
Yeah.
And I just prefer to have it straight lines.
The correct way to build them is with the bridge gutters, especially for like ADA wheelchair access.
Right, exactly.
Because oftentimes when you build a raised crosswalk, you're actually like,
Down.
you got the curb ramp and then you're going back up, and if you could just have it flat.
It's ridiculous. So, okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
You talked about everything that's gonna be done this year. Has Second South been talked about at all? Any improvements gonna be done on Second South anytime in the near future, or is it on the radar?
Not as part of, not that I'm aware of. There is some planning efforts going on with UTA around the railroad crossing. But those are much further on the horizon. I think they're talking about like tunneling underneath the railroad or something like that. What section of Second South in particular?
Oh, I live on 826 West, so just on the west side of the railroad tracks there in the interstate.
Yeah. I'll look into that and get back to the Poplar Community Council on
Because that's still in public road.
Yeah, yeah.
Just barely.
Let's do it.
Great.
Well, thanks, everyone.
Do you have any questions? No, thanks again for stopping by and giving us a lot of updates there. So, we're basically past the time I'd like to be here, but, if there's any other public comments or things that need to be brought up before the body, I already checked online. They seem like they were good.
Make a comment.
Sure.
So I think I spoke last time too, if no one knows, my name is Autumn, and so I am still, since last time I have the kits where it's like if you're noticing ice in your neighborhoods, you can help, let your neighbors know their rights, so that people are safe. And also that there has been more organization surrounding this. So if you are interested in getting involved and helping protect our neighbors, then come see me afterwards. And I still have some kits too. So if you need the kits, know your rights, the whistle, all that good stuff.
Hey, one comment. So the West Side Coalition, Dan knows, is moving ahead with some refrigerator magnets. You probably heard about that. Some instructions, and we felt that would be really helpful. And so I think they've ordered them, but.
No, these are them.
You got one?
Yeah, though they're not branded with West Side Coalition anything, but so we have a few of these that are provided by the West Side Coalition. They are
Cool.
they're like document, I mean, it's like the number of my attorney, the number of my consulate, like it's just like a thing you could fill in with your information. So there's like a quick card with knowing what your rights are, anyways, there's some handout. I mean, these are magnets that feel free to come check them out after the meeting if you have any questions or want to take one or give it to someone that could use it. Great, so thank you for that. Yeah, there's a lot going on in our communities, and whatever we can do to help support each other is great. So with that, I appreciate you guys coming out. It's been great to have you all here. There's still some snacks if you want to grab a little tray to go. Feel free to help yourself to that. And our meeting will be the same date next month because February is one of those months where they all line up again. So we'll be back on the 4th Wednesday next month. Same bat time, same bat channel. So thank you all so much for coming. Have a great day.
I do, maybe.